afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another Propagandacast with me, your host, Imperial Dane. Today's topic, the 2018 iteration so far, anyways, of the Oberkommando West. Volksgrenadiers have received some changes since the initial addition to the game with the Oberkommando West. The Volksgrenadiers squad, though, as it stands right now, is a 250 manpower squad, 5 man, nothing sort of special. They're sort of standing out in terms of otherwise durability. Their overall specialty, though, is just shooting at infantry from afar, just sort of basically standing out there with infantry. They're not particularly no better than a lot of other infantry that could usually sort of roughly beat conscripts under the right conditions. They, well, in some conditions, fight from an infantry section sort of a standstill, but overall, they're not in that regard in the long-term best infantry, though they can perform pretty well, and they will be usually your mainstay, as they'll also be a source of panzerfaust, thusly snares, and they also start out with incendiary grenades, which are pretty good for sort of flushing out positions and dug-in infantry. Can also be used just to deny cover, which is also pretty good. They have access to 2 upgrades. One is the Sturmgewehr package, which you get when you just take up, and then you also have access to the MP40 upgrade of the assault package, which is part of the Fahrsturm doctrine, which increases the unit's overall firepower up close to sort of, well, short to mid-range really, and gives access to regular grenades and smoke grenades. It's a very potent upgrade on the Volksgrenadiers, by the way, and if you get a bunch of them, they can usually do a lot of damage. The Sturmgewehr upgrade does not do anything like that. It just sort of gives them an overall TPS boost at all ranges, basically. It's just a straight up upgrade, whereas with the MP40s, you do trade off long range firepower for sort of close to mid range, though generally you want to get close with the Volksgrenadiers, we do go for that package. As a rule of thumb, your Volksgrenadiers is not just, immortal gods. You gotta use cover, you gotta use maneuvers if possible against your opponent. You'll generally find yourself doing much better with that. And particularly, do go for the MP40 upgrade. Flanking is very much a key part of the whole deal, as of course you can just move head on, you can use smoke grenades, but at the same time they will take damage, will be worn down. So generally, sort of maneuvering or flanking with your Volksgrenadiers is generally good. And also another element to the Volksgrenadiers, you generally want like roughly 3 squads. You can push for 4, but like a 3 minimum Volksgrenadier squad is sort of generally what you want, unless you're planning on going for these additional Sturmpanzers to support them, because otherwise they're just not going to cut it. 2 Volksgrenadier squads is just not really cutting it, and 1 is certainly insufficient. Later in the game, with other infantry, you can consider lowering or allowing Volksgrenadier squads not to be replenished, but later on or early on, you kind of need at least 3, in particular depending on what your opponent does. You might even be pushed towards 4. Furthermore, they have the ability to salvage wrecked vehicles and weapons for a bit of extra fuel, which can be quite useful for your long-term plans and sort of maybe slightly edge your head towards vehicles or armor, whatever else you sort of want for them. So that's certainly important there. Depending on how many you want, you might want to go for the battle group headquarters, access part of medics and heal them up, because they will take damage. They will at later points, at around 25, get the access to self-heal, and I know it's bugged right now, but I'm assuming it's gonna get fixed, so please don't point out in the comments. Though I'm sure there's someone who still will, because they didn't hear it like 5 seconds after, but that's just, the internet. So now again, Oberkommando basic infantry, reasonably flexible, pretty good with Fahrsturm, which is probably one of the doctrines that benefits them the most, though Luftwaffe with Valiant Assault can also work to make your Volksgrenadiers stand out a bit more. Fortification belongs to lead on S-mines is also pretty good, and build bunkers. They can sort of, give them suddenly a bit of pioneering ability, allowing you to set up defences, which is also a pretty good thing to do. A further thing they can do, by always lay down sandbags, setting up field defences, which is certainly an ability you should utilise as well in the right places. So I think that sort of roughly covers a lot of the Volksgrenadiers there, sort of the basics. How many you want, how you want to use them. And again, they'll sort of usually fight most basic infantry to an extent. Of course, against upgraded infantry, you definitely want to upgrade or bring up better infantry or support weapons. If you just sort of try to just keep fighting with them in that sense, you might always end up losing out. So there are something to keep on there. They'll get you somewhere, but they can't necessarily always carry you to the end unless you go for like a lot of them, in which case you have to worry about being bled out manpower wise. If you do go for a lot of them, you definitely want the battle group headquarters. Very much so. But again, the MP40 upgrade is probably, I think, the better upgrade for them at the moment. Well utilised, it can do a lot of damage, and you sort of flank, and particularly sort of try to cut off the retreat path of the unit. As other units attack from the front, you will have a good chance of actually wiping then some of the retreating units. The grenade is also pretty neat, and the smoke grenade can also be helpful in certain circumstances, like covering a retreat or trying to cover an advance. So I think that sort of covers most here of the Volksgrenadiers. and their utility, how to get the most out of them, and how to benefit the most of them. I mean, again, that, you know, pretty good if you know how to use them. So there you go. Hopefully this has been helpful. The hashtag, subscribe, like, share, comment on it, and if you like what I do consider donating or pledging on Patreon. And this is Imperial Dane signing off, and see you all another time with another video. Cheers.